Welcome to Investhealth, and today we're diving into a crucial topic, the most common bacterial infections. We encounter bacteria every single day, and while most are harmless, some can pose serious health risks. It's important to be aware of these common infections so you can protect yourself and your loved ones. We'll break down what they are, how they affect your body, and most importantly, what you can do to stay healthy. Let's get started. First up, let's talk about streptococcal infections, or strep as they're commonly known. Now, strep bacteria are real troublemakers. They love to hang out in your nose and throat, just waiting for a chance to spread. You know how you can get that itchy, scratchy feeling in your throat, and before you know it, swallowing feels like you're downing razor blades? That's strep throat, and it's caused by, you guessed it, Streptococcus bacteria. But here's the thing about strep. It's not always just a sore throat. It can escalate quickly if left untreated. Think scarlet fever, with its telltale rash and high fever. Or even more serious infections like cellulitis, a painful skin infection that can spread rapidly. And believe me, you don't want to mess with those. Now, I know what you're thinking. Dr. Mike, how do I dodge this bacterial bullet? Well, the good news is that preventing strep infections is all about simple hygiene habits we should all be practicing anyway. First and foremost, wash your hands. And I mean really wash them with soap and water for at least 20 seconds, especially after coughing or sneezing and before eating. Next up, if you're feeling under the weather, stay home. I know it's tempting to power through, but trust me, your colleagues and friends will thank you for not sharing your germs. Finally, cover your coughs and sneezes. Remember, those droplets can travel, and we want to keep those strep bacteria at bay. Next up, we're tackling staphylococcal infections, or staph infections. Now, staph bacteria are like those guests who overstay their welcome. They live on our skin and in our noses, usually minding their own business. But when they see an opportunity, like a cut, scrape, or weakened immune system, they're quick to take advantage. And trust me, you don't want to give them that chance. Staph infections can range from mild skin irritations like boils and impetigo, those crusty sores you often see on kids, to much more serious conditions like cellulitis, which we talked about earlier, and even bloodstream infections. One particularly nasty character in the staph family is MRSA, or methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus. This superbug is resistant to many common antibiotics, making it much tougher to treat. So, how do you keep these unwelcome guests in check? Well, just like with strep, good hygiene is your best defense. Wash your hands frequently, especially after touching surfaces that might harbor bacteria. Keep any wounds clean and covered until they're fully healed, and avoid sharing personal items like towels and razors. And here's a pro tip. If you do have a wound that's not healing properly, or if you notice any signs of infection, like redness, swelling, or pus, don't wait around. Get it checked out by a healthcare professional right away. Early treatment is key to preventing those minor issues from turning into major health concerns. Let's move on to a bacteria we hear a lot about, especially when it comes to food safety, Escherichia coli, or E. coli for short. Now, E. coli is a bit of a double agent. Most strains of this bacteria are actually harmless and live peacefully in our intestines, helping with digestion. But here's the catch. Certain strains of E. coli can cause serious foodborne illness. We're talking about those nasty bouts of stomach cramps, diarrhea, and vomiting that can really ruin your day. So, how do you avoid getting on E. coli's bad side? It all comes down to food safety. The most common way to contract an E. coli infection is by consuming contaminated food or water. That's why it's crucial to cook your meat thoroughly, especially ground beef, which can harbor bacteria throughout. And don't forget about those fresh fruits and veggies. Wash them thoroughly under running water before eating, even if you plan to peel them. Remember, bacteria can linger on the surface and hitch a ride onto your food. Another important tip, be mindful of cross-contamination in the kitchen. Use separate cutting boards for raw meat and produce, and wash your hands thoroughly after handling raw meat. These simple precautions can go a long way in preventing E. coli infections. Let's talk about a serious bacterial infection affecting millions worldwide, tuberculosis, or TB. TB is caused by Mycobacterium tuberculosis, primarily attacking the lungs. This airborne infection spreads through tiny droplets when an infected person coughs or sneezes. Not everyone exposed to TB bacteria will get sick. Some develop latent TB, where bacteria are inactive and they don't feel sick. If the immune system weakens, latent TB can turn into active TB, which is serious. Symptoms include a persistent cough, chest pain, coughing up blood, weakness, weight loss, and fever. Early diagnosis and treatment are crucial for controlling TB. If you have symptoms, see a doctor right away. TB is treatable and curable with antibiotics. Consistency is key. Take medication as prescribed. Skipping doses can lead to drug resistance, making TB harder to treat. Prevention involves measures like vaccination. The BCG vaccine is given to infants in many countries to protect against TB. If diagnosed with active TB, protect others by covering your mouth and nose when coughing. Good ventilation helps clear infectious droplets. By working together, we can stop the spread of this global health threat. Last but not least, let's talk about another common bacterial culprit behind food poisoning. Salmonella. Salmonella infections are often linked to contaminated food, especially raw or undercooked poultry, eggs, and seafood. Now, just like E. coli, salmonella can cause a range of unpleasant symptoms, including diarrhea, fever, abdominal cramps, and vomiting. These symptoms usually appear within 12 to 72 hours after consuming contaminated food and can last for several days. So, how do you steer clear of this unwelcome dinner guest? The key is practicing good kitchen hygiene and ensuring your food is cooked thoroughly. Always wash your hands thoroughly with soap and water before and after handling raw meat, poultry, and eggs. When cooking, make sure you're using a food thermometer to ensure your food is cooked to a safe internal temperature. Don't rely on color alone to determine doneness, especially with poultry. And remember that cross-contamination is a major culprit in foodborne illnesses. Use separate cutting boards and utensils for raw meat and produce, and wash them thoroughly after each use. Another important tip: be mindful of the danger zone. Bacteria thrive in temperatures between 40 degrees Fahrenheit and 140 degrees Fahrenheit, or 4 degrees Celsius and 60 degrees Celsius. So, refrigerate perishable foods promptly, and don't leave cooked food out at room temperature for more than 2 hours. By following these simple food safety tips, you can significantly reduce your risk of salmonella infection and enjoy your meals without any unwanted surprises. Bacterial infections are common, but with the right knowledge and precautions, many can be prevented. Always practice good hygiene, cook food thoroughly, and seek medical advice if you suspect an infection. Your health is worth the effort. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more health tips and information. Stay healthy and see you next time on Investhealth.